Sounds in order. We've got some additions here. Any from the council? The additions, in front of you, you have the capital budget, just to, we're gonna add that to F3 under director's report. And then under new business, H6, congratulatory letter to Ron Van Tassel, or thank you letter, I should call it. And in-camera personnel. Nothing else? So we have a motion to approve the agenda? So moved. Second? Any discussion on it? Done, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carried. So what we do is we bring up the delegates at the first so that you're not sitting here all night. Unless you want to. We can move it around, but yet last. So tonight first we have the Basic Aquatic Center and Brooke McNeil. And Bert, I thought you retired. Yeah, so you can come right up front here if you want to get, yeah. And I think Leslie, good on our show.
I thought I retired, I'd be able to have some time, but
Yes.
didn't work out.
No. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, council, and staff. I appreciate the time coming down and making a presentation to you. I am the chairman of the Basin Aquatic Association. Marlo here is the director for the association and our IT specialist as well. Anyway, we are a registered nonprofit with the province of Nova Scotia. We are totally on our own, I will say, from the owners of the building. It's we're free that way. Our plan, obviously, is to open the pool and to get it back to where we need it, and the people that use it want it. We've been inundated with people saying when, and we've been having a couple people sending letters to council saying, get on this, council, we want it, and obviously we're here to ask for money. I think most of you have had most of the information that we supplied. So I'm going to go through a little fast, and I'll be hitting and missing here. So anyway, our pool. The one thing about the pool is it's accessible, wheelchair accessible, and I kind of looked it up, and we are the only pool east of Halifax that has a wheelchair ramp that goes down into the pool.
Yes, sir.
There
Yep,
it is.
I'm
There's the
following.
slide there, yeah. It also has a set of steps on the far side that people that are mobile and it can walk down the steps. But the wheelchair part has been, for me, one of the biggest things, because now we can wheel people that are having issues right down into the pool and they're in the water. We have a 1/8 indoor kilometer track that walks around the pool. That is included in our in the pool membership. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, we've been, like I said, we've been inundated with a lot of things from them and from the people, and you are last but not least council that we've come to. But anyway, we have full year-round pool. Our plan was to hopefully be able to accommodate the local swim teams, that we could have kind of friendly competitions with them, if you will, through the winter. I've been told that I don't think they're allowed to do that. I haven't researched it enough, so I'm going to leave that one as it is.
Yeah, I was involved in that. Depending on where they're headed, they're not allowed to do
Yeah,
that.
that's
Especially winter time. If they're
Yeah.
a summer swim team, they can't do it.
yeah, that's what I was told. Okay, we have the Judy Trimper's on board. Judy is doing the aqua size for the pool, and Also, there's the therapy pool, there's a hot tub, there's a sauna, and there's the kids pool. Unfortunately, right now, the pool, all those items are ready to go. But unfortunately, we're here making a pitch looking for money. Until we can get a commitment, we're not asking for, give us the cash now, but what we're looking for is a commitment. Because obviously we have to go back to the county of Annapolis last, so that we can say, here's what we got, here's what we need. We have, I've been in touch with KDSC plants in Cornwallis there. They do give out grants, if you will, to nonprofits and everything in our area. So I haven't had a chance to sit down with the gentleman there yet, and we also were looking at a couple of provincial grants as well. But for right now, we're looking for a commitment, and here we are. We did a survey. Our survey was 952 respondents. Out of that, there were 88 that did none of the above. They didn't answer anything. So they just, but as you can see, there it is. We've got a lot of families, seniors, and monthly single adults and yearly families. So we've got a very, very wide range of people that are looking to use the pool and get back in the pool. Our employment for the pool, we have pool manager, mechanical service technician, lead lifeguard, 4 part-time lifeguards, biosecurity tech cleaner, and certified water art exercise instructor, which is you. Obviously, we have done our due diligence in this, and it's been a struggle. I won't lie to you. From the first presentation I made to Annapolis County Council till this one, believe me, they're totally different. But we have made it clear to the owners, this is us, you've got to stay away from us. Give us our headway here, and we'll sink or swim. Our total ask, like I said, is $188,000. We've been very careful with our calculations, and what I'm here asking this council for is $25,000. I want to make it very clear, though, we're not asking for the money now. We just need a commitment for the money, if you will, so that we can start to say, okay, I've asked the county for 25 here. At the town of Annapolis, we're all asked for 15, but obviously they're a lot lower population there. So, and then the rest, they go back to the county. So, any questions? I'll try to answer them.
I'll have a few, I'm sure there'll be others.
Yes.
Of course, we can't give a commitment here, it's just a commitment.
No, I understand that. No.
And we are just moving into our budget process.
Yes.
So, we'll see how that budget goes.
Yep.
Before we make any commitments. We're already supporting a pool. We're already paying for a pool in the town and district, our pool here.
Oh, yes.
So, when I saw the two things, so you'd have to convince us to throw more money at another pool when we're already paying for a pool. It's a seasonal pool here, that year advances indoor.
Yeah.
So we'd have to say to the citizens of the town of Digby, now we're supporting too. Now, I know a lot of users from here use that pool. I don't know, I didn't see you broke it down.
We didn't have a breakdown by county, unfortunately, on that particular survey. Unfortunately, I wish I would have thought of it. Retrospect is 2020 sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know YMCA did one years ago when they came to council. So that's the tough sell.
Mm-hmm.
Besides just whether our budget could even support something like that.
Well, money's tight everywhere. I mean, we are aware of that. I guess we're coming hat in hand.
Yeah.
And, we are a year-round pool, like you said, and yeah.
It's probably not a rational fear, but if a nice indoor pool, is it going to draw away from our pool, and then we're going to sit with a bit of an elephant here.
Did you notice anything with the Y, out of curiosity? In regards to financials in that respect when they were open?
Well, I know we didn't support them. We wanted to, but
Okay.
we didn't support them at that time because we still have our pools, so, yeah.
I just want to make a couple of notes, if you don't mind me interjecting just for a minute. It's very important to note that the repairs that have been done to the basin pool do not need to be paid back. It's something that they are not looking to get back from us.
Yeah, they're following that.
Yeah, that's the owner's problem.
And the other part of it is that we're very separate from Basin Fitness. That has been something that has been going around consistently throughout the communities and looking for us to, basically fund one with the other, if you will. Basin Aquatics Association is very much a nonprofit. We realize that it's going to take more to be able to sustain that than it will be for Basin Fitness. So I just want to make sure that it's clear that those are two very much separate entities. They do not go hand in hand whatsoever. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to make sure I got that out.
Council, we need to hear it all, so that when we start delivering. So those are the only things that popped into my head, we're already with the rec department, that between the two, the district and town, I think we're $600,000-700,000 now, I'm not sure exactly, that we're throwing into that operation up on the hill.
The rec operation.
The rec department with the pool, yeah, the rec in the pool. So, anybody else got comments, questions, though? We're asking for money.
You stated you're looking for 25,000, but not right away. Is there a specific timeline for it? Is it a one-time request, or would this be something that
It's a one-time request, but I will say we'll probably be back next year. Our hope is to become sustainable. Right now, unfortunately, we're just starting out, so probably, yes, next year we'll probably be back.
The hope is to be able to, obviously, like Bert mentioned, to become self-sustainable, and that will obviously come with huge membership drives as well. So that's the hope. We don't want to be here asking for money, I promise you that. But the hope is to become self-sustainable. As far as the timelining for money, based on the survey that I had released, the reality is they want it open, from anywhere between Metagan and as far as Bridgetown. People want it open. We have been hesitating on releasing a date for the sheer fact that until we know that this is coming or we have a commitment that it's coming, the pool's ready to be filled.
Yeah.
But we're waiting because once we start to make that motion, we don't want to put ourselves into the red. So we want to be able to make it, ahead and keep it open and then not do a flip-flop, open, closed, open, closed. We don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
And talking to your fear about your pool, your summer pool, I don't think you're going to see an issue there, only because I don't think we will be as steady with the families through the summer anyway because of the outdoor pools. Bridgetown, Annapolis, Middleton, Lawrencetown, Digby. There's no pool in Gormals, but
Not a lot here go to St. Anne's. There were a few that traveled to St. Anne's.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
No, even though I think we all think regionally here, we still have to say to the citizens and the taxpayers in town,
oh, definitely.
why are we sending money?
Yeah, no, definitely.
So we hear all the time, how come our pool isn't covered? That's a big expense.
Yeah.
We hear that all, and I've been hearing it this spring too.
Yeah.
How
Oh,
come
yeah.
my pool's not covered?
You said you haven't talked to Annapolis County yet.
Yeah, we've been to Annapolis County, but-
you had-
but we haven't given them a figure yet.
you know,
Okay, that's why with Digby County Council, this council, and Annapolis Rural Council, then hopefully with another donation from another party, then I'll have a figure, and then I can go back to Annapolis County and say, okay, here's what we need to open. Okay, and like I was saying, we need the commitment. We will need the money, but we need the commitment now. That's all. It's just not, and I mean, I'm not right now. I understand you, but we just need a commitment. And once we get the commitment, we'll start filling the pool. So that's.
And you'll be working the provincial and the federal?
Yes, yeah, especially for the pool, for the wheelchair accessibility there, we're going after the province for some grants there, and I think there's some federal grants available there as well.
Accessibility, so
Yeah.
there are.
Yeah.
And I'll warn them both, I'm seeing both of them tomorrow, MLA and NB, or, yeah, so.
haven't talked to our MLA lately. I must have a conversation with him. But
Yeah.
you guys have the MLA on the right side of the government right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Personally.
actually, her is Cornwallis too.
Yeah, she's her line goes on.
Yeah.
New.
Right up Downs Creek now.
Yeah.
Just a quick question, Bert.
Yeah.
What's the projection on your memberships like? Have you got any idea, like, roughly?
Well, we had 900, like I said, 50-some responses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 952 responses, there was only about 18, if I recall correctly, that didn't respond, or that responded with none of the above,
Yeah.
if you will. So it leads us to believe that, at least 930 people in some way, shape, or form will be receiving a membership, whatever that might look like on their side.
And roughly, what's the Basin Fitness membership? How many do they have going there now?
So the survey for Basin Fitness was just released only within the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and it is not ready to be assessed at this point in
And
time.
it's not part of our.
Oh, no.
Our
I'm just
purview
wondering
either.
what it'll
Yeah.
draw for
But I
them.
know it's there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
Because I know the RCMPs go up there quite a bit to use the gym and stuff.
Yeah, they used to. I know Bridgetown had one built there in the back now. They got a unit that they built in the back parking lot.
People were funny, I got approached the other day for covering our pool, and I said, well, you'll have one at the Keswick. And they said, well, it's too far away. I said, it's a 10, 12 minute drive. But if you lived in HRM, you drive an hour to a pool, based on traffic.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say, like in the store, one lady in particular has 2 kids, they don't like to go to Clare for some reason in that pool, so. I don't know.
It's hot.
Is it hot?
Used to it at all
Yeah.
times swimming. Any other comments from anybody? So you asked for
accessibility at our pool.
Pardon?
It's just a lift.
What's that now?
Wheelchair accessibility at our pool is just a lift.
Yes. A lot of pools.
Not a ramp.
Yeah, a lot of pools have the lift, yes. Yeah.
And when they built our pool, the cement they poured, they had extra money at the time, so they actually built it so that it's ready if you wanted to build a wall and close it.
Yeah.
Whatever you do with cement. But the cost running an indoor pool, we know how much it costs.
Oh, yeah, no, and that's the
I
thing,
love
right?
like looking at that sheet.
Yeah. Like to fix the pool, to get the pool back where it was ready, it was about 50 grand to have it fixed this year. So they found where the leak was, and unfortunately, when the system was put in, it was never put into the manufacturer's specs. Instead of having a metal adapter down to a metal pipe, they had a PVC pipe. And when they got those up, some of them were sunk right into the ground, and that's where all the water came from that made the big indentation underneath. So, but that's all been repaired. Everything's good to go. So.
you're comfortable, it's stable now?
Yes. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's been checked. It's been proved, and yeah.
I echo what you were saying, just to interject here, the lifts that get you into the pool. I had a really bad accident once and I had to use one of those lifts at the William Spry Center in Spryfield. Also, I've had to go in on crutches myself as well. So having the accessibility to be able to do that either way really is very, very, great to have that piece of pie in there.
Any other comments or anything? None?
Well, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. Like we say, we understand your budget is tight. We do understand that.
And we're just getting, we're gonna be discussing our capital budget tonight briefly, so
So any help, we certainly appreciate it.
we'll start at Bottle Drive.
Thanks so very much,
We'll
folks.
be rolling call.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Make a great exit on that. Take care, folks. Thanks again.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Take care. Brenda. And you're up next, Brenda. Are you asking for it?
Nothing.
Okay.
Sharing good news. No money.
Yes.
Pressure's off.
Oh.
On your checkbook anyway. good. How are you? Good. I left Yarmouth today in a pouring rainstorm and got to Digby and the sun was out.
All of a sudden, just in the evening, we asked for a little cloud to cool it down.
That's
but-
nice.
Now,
Nice that somebody
you know
answers.
The fog that comes from down there.
It must be. I don't know. I drove fast enough that it was behind me, so it was good. Yeah, I loaded up my car with my hood on and everything. It was really a downpour.
Yeah, no, we have, I think, a couple of drops.
Okay.
Okay,
Hi. So, hello.
so everybody has your package here. so,
Perfect.
yeah.
Great. So my name is Brenda Legrander, and I work for the Western Regional Enterprise Network, the Western REN, and my current role is I'm the Local Immigration Partnership Coordinator. So it's a new role for me and a relatively new role for the REN, and we've been rolling now for a year and a bit, and I just wanted to come and let you know what's been going on and the projects that we've been doing. So I will figure out the technology. So I'll start with the question I get asked most. What in the heck is a local immigration partnership? We call them LIPs. So a LIP is, they're all funded by IRCC. There's about 80 of them across Canada. And the goal, I guess, of all LIPs is to make the region that they cover more welcoming and attractive to newcomers, to immigrants. Don't provide direct service to immigrants. We work on projects that make the region the type of region that will both attract and retain immigrants to the area. So the Western REN applied for funding in 2021, and they are known as the host organization for the Local Immigration Partnership. And what we did was they hired me, and then I went to work and hired what was required by IRCC, which is a partnership council. So basically, it's a group of people from throughout this region that represent various organizations that are impacted by or interested in immigration. So we have representatives from both school boards, we have representatives from the healthcare sector, we have representatives from our university and NSCC campuses. So all of these people work together to create a 3-year plan on how we were going to make this region more welcoming. The first year, again, a requirement of IRCC, was to do as much research as possible and pull some data that was specific to our region about the area. We ran 3 surveys throughout the region. We interviewed a lot of people, being mindful that we were in COVID shutdown mode, so that was challenging as well. So we did come up with a 3-year plan that had 3 priority areas. The 3 areas are, as you see on the screen, attracting talent, employer outreach and support, and fostering welcoming communities. So attracting talent, we knew that most of the people that were coming to our region were coming here either for work or for school. That was basically the primary reasons why people immigrated to our region. So we met and spoke with many employers who were already hiring newcomers. We met with the university and the NSCC recruitment people to see if there were any gaps and challenges that they could identify that we might be able to work on. Employer outreach and support. As I mentioned, most people immigrate here for a job, bring their family, but most of them come here for work. So that means a lot of our employers are doing the heavy lifting when it comes to immigration. It's not an easy process either for the employer who wants to hire or the immigrant coming here. So we wanted to see if there were some projects that we could work on that would make it easier, use that term loosely, to help them in that immigration process. And finally, fostering welcoming communities. So once people are here, once they've chosen to come here, we want to retain them. We've all heard the stories about people who come here, work for a while, and then move on. We want to make sure that they've connected to community and they get to be part of the community and decide to stay. So we started by creating smaller groups that are called working groups that would tackle each of these 3 priority areas. So in the past year, we started looking for money, don't need any from here for today, and working on some of the projects that were brainstormed by these working groups. So that's the rest of what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So, like I said, our first priority area was attracting talent. So we knew that there was a lot of material marketing our region that was created for a variety of reasons. We have a lot of tourism websites. We have a lot of information, all of our towns and municipalities. We have, of course, each of the colleges. But all of those things were aimed at everybody or aimed at very specific groups. There was nothing that was really out there that was aimed specifically at immigrants. So if they were trying to make a decision as to why this part of Nova Scotia, there really was nothing out there. So that's what this group started working on. We got some funding from Nova Scotia Labour Skills and Immigration and did a bunch of marketing work. So we actually created a new logo. We did a photography project. Our region is large. It's Digby County, Yarmouth County, and the municipality of Barrington. So we knew that there are people working in those communities that know them best. So we reached out to our tourism association. So in this case, in Digby, we reached out to the Digby Area Tourism Association, worked with them. They hired a photographer. And what we were trying to capture was the diversity in all of our regions. We were using photographs in our marketing materials of people who were posing when actually we did have people here. So they went out and got some photos. It was a win-win because we get to use the photos and the associations get to use those photos as well in their materials. We did a videography project where we chose 5 newcomers who'd been here less than 5 years, and the focus was, why did you choose to come and why did you stay? So those videos went over fantastically. We actually have one where it's a temporary foreign worker who's working at Riverside who was a fanatic of baseball in his home country of Mexico and connected to the baseball community here. And he's brought in, I don't even know how many other Mexicans are playing on teams all throughout the region. So it was fantastic. We got some funding to create the welcome folders that you have here. So those are to be used by some of our partners who work with immigrants. I met with Jenny Gillis today. I met with Nancy Wally. So all of those people who are working with newcomers and employers who get people here so that they can have some information specific to their community. We had in that package is also a welcome guide. The welcome guide was created by the Western Wren a couple years ago, and if you've ever done any print work, things change quickly. Once it's in print, it seems like the next day something changes. So we got some funding to refresh the guides, both English and French, as well as incorporate the new logo that we had done. The biggest project by far was the creation of a new website. So this website is welcome to Western Nova Scotia .ca. It's in English, French, it has a Google Translate option, and it is meant to be a tool to be used by people, again, deciding on this end of the province versus another, and for somebody who's potentially new here. So they're here within the past couple of years, well, maybe not, let's say 6 months. They're brand new and they want to know as much as they can or need to know as much as they can about settling into the area. As you'll see, it's split up into, the screen got shrunk, about, which is, again, a broad overview of the end of the province. Move, so it's contacts and resources about immigrating itself, the actual moving process, housing, touchy. Live, this section is most useful to somebody who's recently moved here. It's things like healthcare, childcare, shopping for food, places of worship. Learn, education for themselves, for their children, English language training, library supports. Work, again, people come here for work, but they don't necessarily always stay with the same job that they had once they first got here. So it's resources about how to find work, credential recognition, if they are choosing to work in their original field if they're not doing so. And lastly, explore. That's the fun stuff. It's festivals, getting outside, staying active. A lot. We are linking to all of your websites. We're linking to Recreation Department websites. We're linking to festivals and events throughout the region. This is meant to be a broad overview. The third area of the strategy was employer support. Again, I said they do the heavy lifting. We wanted to see what kind of projects that we could work on that would help them. One of the first things we did is we hosted a newcomer experience workshop. We wanted something to help frontline staff who were meeting with these newcomers, coming and asking them for help. So we had somebody from iSense come and do the presentation. We had 25 people in person and 5 who joined virtually. It was a really great session to just, I guess we all know it, but a reminder of this is brand new for these people moving here. What should we take into account when we are trying to help somebody who's new to our community? And tomorrow we were supposed to be hosting an immigration employer session here in Digby at the Fire Hall. That was going to have presentations by somebody from IRCC, somebody from the provincial immigration department, as well as local partners. And because of the potential strike action at the federal level, IRCC has been told that they're not allowed to commit to anything for the foreseeable next 3 weeks. So it will be rescheduled, but we already had 20 employers who were registered to attend that session. So there's still a lot of employers who are interested and just don't know where to start, which leads me, good segue, into this project. Oops. We created an online tool, and I think in each of your packages there's actually a postcard that promotes it. This is an online quiz that basically will lead an employer from, I really don't know how to even start. Step 1, it's asking them a series of questions, and based on their answers, we'll give them links and information to either local resources, provincial or federal resources to help them get to the point where they have already advertised their positions, created their job descriptions, and they are ready to actually then offer a job or go looking for an employee. And we also know that many people other than REN staff work with employers, so my next kick at the can is going to be meeting with people like CBDCs, Nova Scotia Works offices, to make sure that they also know that this tool is available, what it does, so that they can direct employers to that online tool as well. Our third area in our strategy is fostering welcoming communities. We all know that healthcare is a huge issue when it comes to any newcomer coming into the community. And by chance, one day I received a really neat health guide for newcomers to Nova Scotia, but it was in French only. So when I reached out to the organization, they were the Réseau Santé de la Nouvelle-Écosse, which is a French francophone health network. Their mandate is to create items like that in French. So I asked, and they said yes, if we could possibly have access to their files. So we got to hire their graphic designer, we got some funding, we had it translated and printed. So now we have a health guide for newcomers. It's everything from how to apply to a health card to what services are available to an expectant mom. It's really A to Z. So now that is available in both French and English throughout the province. The largest project that this working group worked on was a welcoming event. On March 25th, we had an event at the Yarmouth Fire Hall. We had over 200 people from throughout the region who attended. It was meant to be a welcoming event, and when we started looking at the registrations, we realized really quickly that we were looking at about 80 to 85% newcomers. We needed more people to welcome them. So we kind of put a push to try to get some more locals out. It really was a fantastic day. We were able to share with them some of these resources that we have. We had Dr. Singh, who is a dentist from Clare, speak about his journey to getting here. We were able to play some of those videos. We had international foods were served by restaurants and caterers in the region, including Rapi Pie, which is pretty international, I guess. But it was a fantastic day. We have applied for funding again to host that same event, and we're hoping to be able to do it on this end of the region next year. Actually, we're already talking to to Jenny about doing something together at that point. Found out today there's 177 Ukrainians living at ABCC, so it's quite amazing. So I've done the math, and it works out to about $60,000 of funding that we accessed in the past year. It's about 30 partnerships between organizations and individuals when you think of who's on our partnership council or working groups. And all of those things were meant and are hopefully going to be able to make our region more welcoming to newcomers. And finally, what's next? So the cycle starts again. We're going to be creating new working groups based on those 3 strategic areas. We're going to come up with new projects. In our strategy, we do have some items that were identified. As you all know, a strategic plan is a living, breathing, changing document. So we'll start looking at what other items, what other projects we can tackle. One of the things we're talking about doing right away is a speed networking event for newcomers, mapping of credentials. So if a welder or a nurse or a teacher comes here from another country, what is the process for them to have their credentials recognized? And like I said, another newcomer welcome event. So I think that is all.
I wasn't able to get to the event, but our new doctor,
Yes.
Dr. Princeton's family went, and I met with them that evening, and they had a fantastic time, so it was a great event.
It was fantastic. It was really, when they came in, their children, the younger ones were a bit shy. We had about 50 kids at the event too. There's a lot of families. And we had a kids area on a stage, which was pretty smart after the fact, I thought, because you could see it from everywhere. And the kids, we told them there was a kids area, and they were kind of shy and hiding behind mom. And by the end of the day, they were running around like crazy. So yeah, it was nice to meet them.
I watched an employer go through the process to try to get 2 immigrants here, and it's a painful process.
It's huge.
It's not directly your mandate, but there's so much misinformation from these immigration firms.
Absolutely.
And I know one person, their family funded their trip here to work in healthcare, and it was a fraud. So she's now sharing a house with a family that took rent, lost all her money.
Oh my God.
I don't know how you deal with those firms.
Well-
There's one firm that says don't come to Digby.
There's one, sorry? What was that?
There's an immigration firm online saying don't come to Digby or something, that's not.
Really? Because they've probably had people like you and me warning employers. All we can do is, when we talk to employers, there is a list of approved recruiters on our provincial list. And it is basically a finable offense if an employer uses a recruiter who is not on that list. There's also the fact that for an immigrant to come, an immigrant who's recruited by a recruiting firm is not really, shouldn't be paying any fees. All fees should be paid by an employer. Those are some of the myths as well. On that employer support tool, we do have like a frequently asked question and a myths section, so that we're trying to get information out as much as we can. But we do know that they're around. They're knocking on the back door and saying, we can get you 20 people.
Their family found it online. She was going to be working at the nursing home in Annapolis. And
Yes.
when he disappeared, they disappeared. So
It's
somebody took her in
Yeah.
Annapolis. No, it's good.
So I'm
Questions for
Do you think that your data, is because of COVID, is skewed a little bit because there's a big component there that are people who have come to our region to retire as well?
Well, we deal with immigration versus migration. So I know that a lot of people might be coming here from BC or Alberta to retire, but to immigrate as somebody who's my age, let's say, is very, very difficult. The immigration streams are really almost all, other than maybe the refugee streams, economic streams. So you're coming either for work or for study. So they're really quite stringent on who they allow to come here. But whether it's skewed, yes. The fact that we were trying to do everything from afar, I guess, without being able to meet in person and that sort of thing. We did have really, to be honest, good response from our community survey, good response from our employer survey. The survey directly from immigrants, we had lower response. And it's sometimes hard, even immigrants that are here that are working, you have to get past the gatekeeper of their employer to get information to them as well. So that's something we work closely with our Y-Reach partners who work with those people.
Perception is, I mean, the term foreign worker.
Absolutely.
Foreign worker.
It really truly is. And IRCC uses the term foreign national. So even that one, like the language, I know the language is, in French you don't even say immigrant. Like that's almost like yeah, it is.
Any other comments, questions?
You had mentioned about the workers moving on. Are there any stats that you have that the workers that have come here and then did their term type thing and then moved on? Like, is it a high ratio or?
What we're hearing that, so there's a few different immigration streams, and one of them is the Atlantic Immigration Program. It used to be a pilot, and that one, they're seeing higher retention rates, and that's across Atlantic Canada. And that's one that is employer driven. So the employer does most of the work to get designated. So they have to do a lot of work before they even hire. So I think, and some of that work includes diversity training, that sort of thing. So whether it's for that reason or not, they're seeing higher retention levels through that program. It is really hard to get any statistics. We've asked many, many times as to even who's here and how to contact them. For that event that we had in March, in the Eventbrite registration, we had a box in there ticking if you'd like to receive follow-up information from this group. It's about the only way, to be honest, because there's not a list that happens when people arrive in the region or leave the region either. So it is, I mean, for privacy reasons as well. Yeah.
Any other comments, Brenda? No, thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
This has been needed for a long time.
It has. And I mean, it was when we were working with employers, we were seeing that there was a piece missing. Yeah. So anyway, I thank you very, very much for your time.
All questions, we'll give them to you.
Great. And I hope to be here next year and I'll tell you all about the other groups.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Moving on to the minutes of the previous meeting of the 20th of March. Anybody note any errors or omissions or anything? None? We have a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second. No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No. No business arising. So we can move right into the CAO's report.
Okay. And the planning department, 2 development permits were issued. There are 5 building permits issued. Under fire inspections, there were 2 fire inspections conducted. Those failed deficiencies in 30 days to correct. And fire inspections that are booked to happen in the near future are 110 Water Street, April 27th, 110 Warwick Street, May the 3rd, and 27th Street, which is May 4th. Fire department responded to 13 calls on the previous month, 8 were in town, and 5 were district calls. Office of the CAO, marketing levy. Membership of the advisory committee has been appointed. The first meeting is being scheduled in May. We had the originally and conflict, so we're still working on it. Downtown VIC building, the Area Tourism Association. So based on the actual cost of 22-23, the annual operating costs are estimated at $11,390. Breakdown is, $340 for water, $500 for insurance, $1,100 for power, $1,200 for internet, $750 for phone, janitorial, $6,000, supplies at $1,000, and miscellaneous is $500.
Tom, just if I can, quick question there. At the data meeting, there was quite a, I guess, discussion a bit about the janitorial. So I assume that's every night for like 4 months, right?
Basically, that's for whenever, because we cleaned it because they were public washrooms.
Right.
Because of COVID.
So that would be our group going around like here, and the dignity station, and then there.
Yeah.
So that was 5 or 6 nights a week that was cleaned.
Yeah.
I wouldn't you think that, well, but if someone's gonna take that bill over, they can handle it.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I was just wondering like how long that was.
Yeah.
It depends on, most of this was because when it was operating in the VIC, staff cleaned the buildings,
Right.
but we had reluctant to clean washrooms, it's the right standard. So basically, that was what the janitorial service was for, is cleaning the washrooms. So,
So when we put the outdoor entrance on it, are we gonna be still responsible for some of the restroom cleaning? Or is it gonna be totally
well,
the
I'm
tenants?
not sure. Coming up a little, but we did get the grant money for the public washrooms, right? And one of them is gonna be there between the, bandstand and the old VIC.
Okay.
Right, so it's gonna be there, so there will be a public washroom right there, so we won't
Okay,
necessarily need them.
okay.
So, we're putting their RFPs for pricing and stuff. And so, as soon as possible, we'll get those underway and which will eliminate, at the time that sort of brought up the suggestion of moving it from the access and washroom from the outside. And, that time, we didn't know when or if we were gonna get the money for the public washrooms. Okay. Now that we got the money for the public washrooms, it changed things and changed the way we look at things, so. Yeah. So, I sent out the numbers, to the chairperson, the response was positive, and they were discussing at the data meeting, and to meeting next week, which is actually, it's gonna be this week, this, Wednesday at 3:30. Sorry.
Yeah, there was a motion to do it.
Some of these operating costs will vary because they're all sure.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
could be different
I mean,
numbers,
you
but that's
know,
their challenge, not ours.
Basically, I would say power, internet, and phone isn't gonna change much. Water probably not gonna change much. The things that would change is maybe janitorial and stuff like that. Now, I didn't include any repair and maintenance costs in there, just basically to keep the running.
It would be a moot point, but the water meter is including the bathroom that's going to be a public bathroom too, right? It's just one water meter. That wouldn't be a huge amount of money anyway.
Really, that's, for 6 months, that's low anyway, we figured at $340, it's not gonna change much up or down. Right, it's gonna stay roughly the same, even if it's just office space or an open VIC. Because there's really not that many people that use the bathroom there anyway, when it was the VIC, right? They went in, did their business and they left, right, so.
Which is, the staff tells me that most people come in there and look, and
Yeah.
use the washroom.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for. When I use the staff, so. Okay.
Well, the Main Street School, the file with the food bank is still ongoing, but be able to settle it in that next week. We'll lasso around out there and sit down for 5 minutes. The classroom on the lower floor has been offered to Jats, which is size 28 feet by 19 feet, it's 532 square feet. The annual rent is $46,9756 plus HST, for it would be $415.18 per month. So, at the time I wrote this report, my contact was certainly in agreement, and they're gonna have it, their meeting on Saturday, and I get word today that they voted to accept the offer, and would like to be in by the end of the month, if possible. So,
Is there any space left to now to rent?
no, not all, because there's some common space there that we can't rent, because we got the washroom, we got that little kitchenette there, and just common space for all the tenants to be able to use.
So is the food bank gonna keep their two big?
Yeah, food bank, as far as I know, unless he changes things to try to get the price down. But, the space that he's using is, when you move down the ramp, and from the back door, stuff, the room to the left, and just a little bit in front of the ramp on that side is what the food bank uses. There's an office there that he uses for office space. RCMP cost per officer. So a virtual meeting between representatives of the Department of Justice and CEOs from municipalities that are under the provincial policing service agreement. A copy of the PowerPoint presentation I placed on the cloud for council's viewing. We were asked to keep in mind that the presentation was for internal use and not distributed outside our work environment. So the cost per officer amount is for 23-24 is $201,495. And so full breakdown is in PowerPoint presentation of what makes up that money. And so we went from that to a small discussion on the retroactive pay costs. The province has not responded to the federal letter on the retro pay as of yet, but the deadline for them to respond was the 15th of April, which was Saturday, I believe it was. So, the Department of Justice has approved some of the retro, however, that was significantly higher than what was approved. The difference is approximately 1.1% plus the overtime. So, what that means is that in our billings, since we were paying some of the retro and what we thought would be retro, so at the end of the day, the bill that we'll have to pay for retro is going to be as large as everybody thought that it would be. Right? So we didn't realize they had approved some of the costs.
Yeah, but didn't tell us.
No.
The lines of communication.
Uh,
Yeah,
But it is a good thing.
yeah, it's a good thing.
Spread the pain and so.
Yeah.
And Nova Scotia Community College Work Placement Program, so we're currently participating in the NSCC Work Placement program and have a business administration student that will be starting on April 24th at the town hall under the supervision of the executive assistant. And a heavy equipment operator student currently at Public Works under the supervision of the Public Works director. There are no direct costs to the town for participating in this project, so it's giving them some work experience.
Very good.
And last thing is Frank McIntosh Memorial Park. And so I've been contacted by the McIntosh family to inquire about a flagpole at the park. The family will pay the cost if council will permit one at the park. So on behalf of the family, I'm requesting permission from council to place a flagpole at Frank McIntosh Memorial Park.
And our policy would apply to that plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because.
Yeah.
We,
It would become a town flagpole, or just want to put it up, and actually, we also pay for some flags, so.
we're,
Go.
What Tom and I talked about is gonna go behind the current sign that's there. So the design of it, haven't got the price yet, but it would look like identical to the one that's down at the VIC, the 3 flags, 2 on the side and 1 up high. So it's quite big, it would look good down there when you drive it to the intersection, having that there, so. You really can't put it any closer to the road, because then you're into the garden or impeding traffic. Hopefully, we're looking for clearances and stuff, so.
yeah, too close, it becomes a distraction too.
Yeah.
That wouldn't really be cheap by the time you dig a hole in the cement and.
Yeah, well, from what I understand, they're going to pay for the whole thing, so, yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah,
They just want to know whether council would be willing for a flagpole to be placed there, and they're willing to pay for it, so.
Yeah.
And I'll send a check and get back to them.
We kind of consider that the entry point to the community, right there, it's still down the driveway, so like,
You got a place for council.
yeah. So we,
We need a motion to
Yeah.
send it to council. I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Yeah, well, I'll just go Boston flag there. Just Boston.
He'd love that.
Yeah, not coming.
Oh, yeah, I think the first flags, I think we're thinking of what he's saying, that will be a Trump,
Yeah.
Canadian, no search back there.
All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Right, Tom? Director of Public Works. See a hole being dug everywhere.
Literally everywhere. Not just by us, from what I see, so. Completed the CMP report for the wastewater, which is the federal wastewater report. Completed the annual report for the water commission. So we received one proposal for Shreve Street, and I've contacted a second engineering firm to give us a second proposal. Worked on the RFP for Matt Street, and completed the beautification and community works on the report. Under wastewater, pump 1 and station 1 have been repaired and back in service. Serviced the relief valves on the force main to the lagoon, and installed a new pump at Bolivar's service, Bolivar's lift station, not service station. We fixed a pump on Pleasant Street that was plugged with a bare underground, actually. It's not cool. So under equipment, we put a new hood on the old backhoe, and we also replaced the AC pump. The pump seized and caused, we just pulled everything, couldn't use backhoe, so we had to replace it. The old 510's been inspected for another year, and new brushes, and the gutter brush is put on the street sweeper, so we've been out using that, as you can probably see around town. And we replaced 5 hoses on the newer backhoe. So under building maintenance capital projects. Fire hall project is really moved along, looks great. It's got a set of plumbing fixtures this week in the bathroom, and that's all done. The heat pump in the common area and meeting room has been installed. The mini home, we're pretty well ready to move it. I do have to have power disconnected yet, and we still got to do a little bit of work to the pad. And we're just waiting for the contractor that's going to be moving it to fit the axles and the wheels so we can move it. And the surveying has been completed at the old Highview property. And we started replacing culverts on West Street, and we continue to work on the Digby station. Under safety, six of us took a trenching course. Many of the employees during the month of March and April have using that their vacation that remains from last year. All right, so just brought a few things to show you. So the public bathrooms, I submitted the development application to the development officer, so we can get our building permit. The bathrooms will include a sink and a toilet, full-side faucet for events, and 230 amp plugs for the events. So we'll have fully heated tile floors, tile walls, and we'll have a four-way mechanical room, an 8-way bathroom. We'll have power actuated front door, and the discussion with the building inspector slash fire inspector, we have to make the building 45 minutes. Fire 45-minute fire preparation.
Yeah.
So you have to change what we're going to do a little bit. So the inside has to be Type-X drywall on all the walls and ceilings, and the outside of it has to be a metal siding or cement siding. So
The only repress would be the door.
yes, yes. So just draw a couple things to show everybody the siding. So this is the siding here, and this is the other finishes. Okay.
These, I think I asked you about, are they open annual or just season?
Well, it's gonna be totally up to council. I would recommend seasonal, but they are gonna be heated and fully insulated, so you have the option.
Just see what the operating cost
So
is.
there are two of each one,
One bathroom each one. Yeah. So this is what we're looking at, putting the walls inside the bathroom. It's not a mechanical room, it's a drywall mechanical room. And then it's easy to clean, the white tiles. That's what we're looking to put on the floors. They're nice and non-slip tile. They're not overly pricey. We did price out stainless steel. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's 117. Hold on, it's over there. Yeah.
Is there a drain in the bathroom floor?
There has to be a cover.
Yeah.
So we'll pipe the drain directly to the storm sewer instead of the sewer. What's that? Just something simple. I was kind of trying to match town hall. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. Just something basic. No, that's true. It's true. It's supposed to have some color.
You have to make them as vandalism-proof as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what we picked out. Black metal roof, black fascia. Just not gonna say stick to the basics. I understand color's okay too. This white looks so good when it's cleaned up, and it's something that we can maintain ourselves too. So great, which is good.
And of course, his white is mostly in stock.
And that's
You have to have a replace a piece.
and when I talk to the hardware stores, that's what they'll do. Yeah, I do allow 10% extra, so we have some stuff here, but we always run that risk that you can't get it in 3 years' time because the style has changed on everything.
It's just been a phenomenon with more businesses saying, no, you can't use our washers unless you're a customer, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking for washers. We'll be well ahead of the game. We have a couple of washers down in town.
And it's one of our biggest complaints.
Yeah.
So, here you go. Yeah. So that's what we're looking at. Does anybody have any questions on them or anything?
you mentioned paint and the, over there.
Yep.
The soap door, that's a mess.
Yep. So
That would be cleaned up.
I talked to Bruce already. We're gonna sand the whole thing down. The outside's not too bad, but the inside is bad. We're gonna sand it down, paint the same color as the interior walls.
Yeah. Any questions? back to roads, I just, immigration, I was talking to a couple today, a little off subject, but when they immigrated to Canada, the immigration officer asked her husband, when was Canada, formed? He said 1867, they asked her, what level of government is, responsible for roads? She said, by looks of the roads, none of them. She brings the immigration officer.
Facebook this week, they asked which department of the county was responsible for roads.
Does that go back into,
Probably wait till May. You sometimes still get those little cold
Freeze
snaps
ups,
in
yeah.
nighttime. So, that's what we put in last year, around May 1st.
Any questions for the director?
The proposal for Shreve Street,
Yes.
what's going on there, anything?
I'm just waiting for a second engineer firm to look at it. We do have one price, but we really need to get a second price.
So is that for lane or attachment?
Yeah, so they can give us the recommendations that we need, so we can price it out.
That'd be around. Yeah.
You know that work too?
I just said, one little circle.
They can just tuck and roll, and they go around the corner.
Yeah, but I have got some comments about the street. Now, that's that case of you go so far, the district goes so far. Okay. Very good. No questions, and we'll move on to the director of finance. We added that draft capital budget. I think we need a lot more time to look at that than just tonight. Yeah.
Just a chance to glance at it,
Yeah.
get a little bit of feedback on certain things. So you have the report, the operating, statement of operations, looking a bit worse than I anticipated. I thought we were gonna head for a break even. Now, we're looking at, likely a deficit, probably in the $150,000 range. On a $5 million budget, if we're plus or minus 100,000, we'll kind of call that on budget. So hopefully we'll still be in that range. Just a shame to spoil our run of surpluses that we've had since Tom and I have both been here. But the problem is actually even taken away the financial condition indicator that said, did you have deficits? They want to get rid of it because they recognize that. Well, no, not that, but that we're not running a business here. We're trying to come in on budget. We're trying to, running a surplus could even mean that you haven't carried out all your mandates. You haven't spent the money you're supposed to. So having a small deficit, a small surplus, what's the difference between the two? And a lot of municipal units were complaining, we weren't because we never had deficits. But they were complaining, so it's going away as an indicator. But, so not the end of the world. We're still in the ballpark on budget our just figured hours. It's not that bad.
Well, I didn't see anything. With the deficit last year, I didn't see anything in the past 12 months that would get rid of that deficit, so I'm expecting that. So, especially with the Senate.
Yeah, and really when I glance at what's causing it, one of the single biggest thing is our Queen Street pump station failure. I haven't accounted for any insurance proceeds in that number, so if we get insurance proceeds in on the $40,000-$50,000 that we lost, that will go against that deficit and make us even closer to our budget. And the next is deed transfer tax. In the last 2 months, it didn't keep up with what I thought it would. Unfortunately, we're going to be $40,000 below budget in deed transfer tax. Commercial tax revenue, between the time we set the budget and we sent out tax bills last year, there was $20,000 more in commercial tax revenue loss. So less $20,000 less commercial tax revenue than anticipated. So right there, we've got 50 million. That's 110,000 right there of unexpected numbers. So you can see how easy it is to come up with it. Other than that, there's just, I don't want to go through all the details, but there's some counts are over, some counts are under, as usual. So, not the end of the world. Employee benefits. I guess good news and bad news. Bad news that it's up. Good news that it's not up that much as far as affecting the employees. Most of them will see less than a $1 didn't pay back the, I guess we'll call it interest that we normally pay back to our own reserve. Every year we put aside money in our reserve to cover previous years. And so that was $45,000. And we used, last year, we used $99,000 transfer rate of the operating reserve. So last year was tough, not sustainable, and we're heading into a different fall one this year. Too early for me to give you any numbers. But the negatives keep piling up. For example, the RCMP, there's another increase of $60,000, a 6% increase. And asset retirement obligations, that will mainly be an accounting exercise affecting the water commission. So we haven't found any large liabilities with the town assets that we need to improve. And sustainable services growth fund, I think that's coming up later on under new business, $335,000 received March 31st in our bank account before any explanation was even given to us. And the explanation itself is in the capital money. That's most of the report. Well, I did attend the Active Transportation Focus Group meeting. That was much more focused than the public active transportation meeting, which got a bit derailed for anybody who was there. They may have realized that we had some, I'm not sure what word to use, but some people who thought there was a conspiracy going on from the highest levels of the World Economic Forum right down to the Director of Finance.
Not done.
So the budget schedule that's attached to the water basically ends with the June 5th council meeting, passing the budget, and that's where we did it last year. We were 2 years before that, we did it in July, trying to get it done in June, and try to do most of our meetings just attached onto our meeting goals and our council. See if we can do it without extra budget meetings, but I wouldn't say that extra budget meetings are completely ruled out. Sometimes
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier with separate meetings.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because you have in front of us this draft capital, we might want
Yeah.
to, I see, written across the top is staff capital, we have a council capital there either, so.
You heard that?
Yeah, I heard it.
I don't see that one.
Councils aren't there yet, so.
So the main thing here is this is a very rough draft put together for council to have a look. And I think there's a couple of items that need some input from council just so we can move this forward to the next draft. And Ed needs approval on certain items to go to council just so we can get moving on it. Ed, feel free to jump in, but only everything that's highlighted in yellow is what we were looking for. The fire hall upgrades, and I guess that's just to be discussed, or do you want to put from council?
I know some of it was discussed in their fire hall meetings that they had. One thing that we tried to squeak in this year under the money we had was they would like to purchase a washer and dryer so they can wash their gear and stuff. I think it is important. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was quite a bit, $28,000. But there's that. Something else that was discussed was the facade in the front of the fire hall. Is it something that doesn't have to be this year, but it's something we need to look for years to redo the front of the fire hall, so it looks more like a modern fire hall. You know, something I can work on later, the prices on ideas. Just like an extra day was discussed at times, but it's kind of been passed around, so. Just, so this year I'd like to do the extra the washer and dryer, and we do still need to do the main that runs down the fire hall. That feeds, that'll fill the fire trucks with their side. It's there is one there, but there's not one on every house but for the fire truck, so it is something that we do need to do. So with those two things, dives and the main's gonna run us probably around 15, so I'm looking at, I'm gonna say $50,000 to do those two projects.
The mains inside the mill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the main, it's the inch and a half main that runs down the base, so it has all the
Yeah,
downspouts.
yeah, we had down.
Yeah, so copper's not cheap, regretfully, so, but,
I took one of those buildings.
well, the whole main.
I was hooked it with a hose once.
So if we want to do those two things, $50,000 to cover it, and then we could look at the facade later and just price it out, see if it's something the council is interested in doing. The building is really in a lot better shape, it's definitely cleaner, it's definitely more welcoming and stuff for the work that we've done there, so. Right, they do this for sure.
Deputy Mayor, just, like, were they still sending their stuff away to, yeah. See, there's no one that comes around fixing stuff up, they can't break it down.
Yeah, so,
I mean, 2 years ago, we kind of knocked it.
Yeah. And technically, it's supposed to be cleaned after reconstruction, I heard.
It might have been last year.
Yeah.
But we haven't done it for probably a long time, actually, since this one.
So the next part there, is just, we're getting new prices on skid steers, nothing issue. The main thing we're concentrating on here is one, the bottom first page, Mount Street upgrade. So the RFP for the, project manager closes, I believe, next week. And hopefully once we get the project manager, we'll get things moving and construction will begin in next year. That's the one where we have the big, ICIP grant, investing in Canada. 73% of our $2.3 million project, joint water in town.
I was asked to provide a quote for that project to the federal government, so I'm gonna tell them it was a piece of agricultural land, because we can no longer grow potatoes there in top of it, so. They got an email today, you received the email, they just want, they're gonna make the official announcement 25th, yeah, right away,
I just go back to, the fire hall upgrades. The other capital needs of, fire department factored in the budget somewhere.
Possibly not, so make sure.
you wrote that in your book, Matt, not on my paper, so.
Did we get a timely?
You wrote it in your book.
Yeah.
And that was passed by a review by
Oh,
the
yes.
committee, fire committee.
Yeah, where we got talk.
No, sorry, thank you, that needs to go in here.
Yep.
Good catch. What's the draft?
Car, if council decides on a car, it should be a minimum a hybrid or even all electric.
So,
Then I'd ask Mr. Dunn if he's, there's it.
Yes, yes.
so I did have some rough prices, just so everybody can have an idea about the, so a truck like the water commission truck, you've probably all seen it, just a basic four-wheel drive truck, no options on it, no cruise control, nothing. When we bought that in 19, I think it was, we paid $13,000 for it. That same truck today is just shy of $60,000 plus tax, which is crazy to think about it. So, Public Works really don't need another truck, but we need some type of transportation to help get the guys around, especially bigger, we go to the city twice a year, or not, sorry, twice a month, take water samples up, all our time sensitive ones, for all of our water testing. For water reads, it's absolutely perfect, because they don't need a truck to do water reads. The trips to the city, we spend $150 on fuel to drive to the city back.
$7 an electric car.
So that's what I'm getting at, so it's $300 a month,
Yeah.
that's almost the payment on one of these vehicles, right? Especially over, well, you pay it on 5 or 10 years after the vehicles.
Well, we would probably buy it, finance it over 10 years. It could be the 5 or 10, we do collaborate.
So it's definitely really a win-win for us, if we might go with a small SUV for travel.
What would it be for one? More?
Oh, yeah, it's a lot more.
It must be close to 60 cents, I think, in the rate.
Yeah, the Fed, yeah, well, even the provincial.
We followed the provincial rate. Yeah, they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
the project.
Known to correct the Halifax. cheaper. The gas is cheaper in the truck when we pay somebody mileage to take their own vehicle home. And, that's, we also, we discussed this vehicle, it's not just for, public works, we're gonna use it a fair amount of time, but it also be available for admin staff or Lee or something, she needs to do something or, instead of probably getting mileage.
It's you know, what I priced out was more of a small SUV, something that's all-wheel drive. And for example, Ford, they have what they call EcoSport, this is, they run from $26,000 to $33,000. Escape is 38 to 49. The 49 is a hybrid. So you're going to notice all my higher numbers are more hybrids than most of these. Honda, the HRV is 34,000 to 40,000. The $40,000 is an eco assist system in it. The Chevrolet, which is the Trailblazer, is 31 to 39. Toyota RAV4 is 36 to 46, and that 46 is the hybrid. And Dodge Torrent is 41 to 47,000. So it all depends on the brands, where the prices sit.
Trailblazer hybrid, they're coming, they're,
It wasn't online yet.
yeah, I know, because I'm probably gonna trade mine very shortly
Right.
for a hybrid, but they're cool with that.
Yeah. So there you go. So I just did some prices off the internet. I didn't go call everybody for prices and stuff. Just some examples.
One more religious, more hybrid, just straight away.
Yeah. And personally, yeah.
I go straight electric.
I would agree with you, just because for travel, I think it's important, especially to Halifax.
400 kilometers on a Chevy Bolt, the cheapest hybrid you can get is 400 kilometers.
Yeah.
And you gotta remember, every morning you get up, your car is fully charged.
But replace the better.
Their warranty date's 10 years. So you're getting rid of your car.
Now it's all that's on our roads.
Oh, yeah.
But even the hybrid, definitely, if it's something that council is interested
The
in.
problem with Hondas and Toyotas, you know, because they can't produce that.
Yeah, all of them, really.
Pretty all of them, especially for the hybrids, yeah. But yeah, we have to go through the tender process and all that stuff too, so.
I can
Some
buy,
of you just call to go on one of these today, great.
So it's disappointing that there's no 5-time report, so that repairs are
Yeah.
I can buy,
Never thought of that.
you can buy a Tesla, the base model Tesla, 500 kilometers today for $1,000 less than I paid for my Ford Escape.
Really?
Yeah,
How big is it?
the four-door. Terry Tibbetts type style.
Okay.
Yeah. Just, that's what they are now, they dropped their prices 20%, so this stirred up some people that bought them in January, then they dropped the prices.
I was just thinking of with the all-wheel drive capability, that
Yeah.
is something for all staff, you know. Mom goes to waste check once a month, I'm thinking, yeah,
Well, everybody-
yeah, it's perfect, right? To drive, it's just an example, it's just an easy pick, because where he goes there once a month, right, so.
You drive by Service Canada, and I haven't noticed lately, but there's always a car there sitting all night.
Yeah.
That's what they did. Instead of paying everybody miles,
I
they
appreciate
bought a car.
That's part of it, that's true, but then you consider something like Toyota Prius that's been tried and tested. They use it as taxis and they get to beat that.
Yeah, and I have no issue pricing them out. When we started the conversation, we started with just a car, and then with the conversation we had, we kind of got into the small SUV. So, it's, especially for traveling, if you're gonna have 2 or 3 people, the extra room sometimes is nice too, right? So, it's, I wanted to put it there, I talked with Tom Matthews about it, I thought it was a good idea, so I thought we brought it here for discussion, so.
Get it in front of us, we'll beat this up.
Yeah, so, what would the idea be for me to start pricing stuff out? Would you go with the car or the small SUV, or would you like to see both? I don't mind doing both, it's fine.
It's hard to find a car. It's hard to find an SUV.
Yeah.
SUVs are what they
I was just Ford check on that, should we go with it?
Just looking for, some type of direction, that's all.
But I just think, we need to show some responsibility to the hybrid at least.
No, that's perfect.
And that's, charge it overnight, 110, it's 9 hours, but if you get to spend $600, well, most of them are giving the charges now, $600 level 2 charger is 3 or 4 hours. Like fast chargers, 30, 40 minutes, so. But that's always the debate, it's the range anxiety, but every morning you get up, the car's full of electricity. When you get in your gas car, it's not, you gotta drive and get gas. Anyway.
You got a generator.
You get a generator, then you run the truck. Yeah. But you know what they're doing with their electric cars with batteries in it? They're running their houses. Oh, yeah.
Now, fossil fuels goes to buy an electric car, just wipes out that.
No, year and a half. Year and a half.
I don't believe that. It's like a windmill. You know how much power and electricity and steel goes into building a windmill? And that takes
Yeah.
50 years.
I'll send you the latest report. Yeah, year and a half. Electric car, it takes a year and a half, and in the next 9 years, electric cars just blows away the gas cars.
So did we have a discussion earlier about, a new station, electric station for?
Nova Scotia Power was looking at it, never heard back. Did you hear about it?
There's no reason to stop it.
So if you do that, you should include the new power station.
Sure, read the right. There's all kinds of grants.
They were gonna do that for a while.
Well, they called NASA to be rich.
Yeah, everything went on it.
Yeah.
And just never heard back.
So we put that in compound, we put that here,
What's that?
the new power station.
Well, they had the hybrid, well, depending on the hybrid you get too, it's either hybrid or plug-in hybrid.
Yeah, plug and play, I think they call it.
Usually plug-in hybrid.
Yeah, if you got a plug-in hybrid, you can plug it with 110, but you're better off having a charger.
Yeah, well, we have one here, and we have one at the shop that's fine too, especially if one comes with it.
Yeah.
Is that one at each location, depends on who's using it that week or that day.
GM's getting them done, right? You buy, their hybrid cars, they throw in the charger in front. Yeah, all good, but I'll debate with you, Councilor Sonia, on electric cars and all that.
Certainly have time to have that.
So, Shore Road paving, that was discussed.
Yeah.
If you were saying you want to get some input from council on what they think, that would be a very big ticket item, going probably from the Rapid intersection, likely to the EIC.
We paved it last time, how come the problems isn't paving it this time?
Somebody else said that.
Yeah. Is there a road?
Yeah.
Well, they built it, they said it's ours.
So, so I'm gonna give the price regardless, just to see,
Okay.
everybody knows the condition of the road, it's,
Yeah.
it's disappointing, especially when it was paved 15 years ago. But the whole, we patched it out, how many times we patched it in the last 5 years? We built sections of it, we paved sections of it, and it's just continually disintegrating, and it's because the underneath just isn't there, the road surface. So, I talked to Tom Matt about putting it in here just to see the appetite. It is our main road to take me from the ferry into the ferry. It's, and now with the VIC up there, it's even more important really, so.
He's not Joe.
Well, that road sits 7, 8 feet above the surrounding land, and it's wet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
It's all the ditches are on the
One
west side.
side is way too low
yeah,
in some sections, yeah.
they just built it on mud. I lived right there, they built it, it's just built on
There's no road surface there.
No.
Could we do like Kensal and make that one way we get into the stop signs, we have to?
You can do anything.
Yeah. Get a price,
Okay.
and we'll talk to Jill.
He did it first, they did it.
And I guess thinking about the Victoria Street, from the rail trail to the Racket intersection along Racket to the bridge. Draft, I think, to get a price on that as well.
Yeah, there should be an appetite for a price on the sidewalk from Lighthouse Road to the corner.
Who's that for?
For us, it's in town, there's no sidewalks. You step into the municipality, you walk up a nice sidewalk.
That was definitely brought up at the,
Yeah.
transportation
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
That will be in
Some
the
of that stuff.
Yeah.
Show up in-
Yeah, I know it's there.
It is something that we've talked about numerous times anyway, that we do need sidewalk and curb there.
Well, you have to
Especially
walk.
because of the water that comes down that road.
I mean, the amount of washouts that hit there, major washouts and stuff, you gotta try to control the amount of water coming down, I think.
Well, I walk it every day, and now I'm walking on where the old sidewalk, it's all grass now because the side facing the propane place is all ruts and holes. So you can't get off the road to get it, so I walk on
That's from Shore Road to Lycos Road.
the corner. And it'll help picture. Runoff. Good thing you brought it up, so everybody doesn't mention.
So, back to just that Victoria Street and the intersection, we're asking for, and we get a price on that area as well. Of concern to council.
I'm just trying to fix some roads that I know we're safe to pave, that the infrastructure should go under.
And you get a price to also include the rumble strips that used to be there,
Where were they located at?
just past the pines, on the way to the stop sign. And then, was there one set or two?
There was 2 sets in the neighborhood put up a route because.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah, I, at that time, I was living in a little butcher and I'm sure, I never complained, but it got you up and doing that.
Really?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that noisy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were quite loud, yeah. And then the plows were, yeah.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I'm just writing it down.
I don't sleep now, so go. Yeah, but I know that,
I'm sure that we end up getting the same
probably,
feedback
because there was, I think, 3 sets that come both ways.
Yeah.
Well, more. No, what to do with that, I just.
On the next page, or page 4, the first one in yellow, really there's nothing there, we're just gonna try to firm up the dollars, that's why it's in yellow. The street traffic solution, I know you talked about it a little earlier. My description was just what we were talking about, but like I said, it's whatever the engineers come up with, and I'll have to refine that estimate when we get the numbers, so nothing really for council to look at there.
Could you include, when you're doing that, the problem with the drainage right there on First Wood?
Yes, see that, I've already talked to the neighbors there, and that'll be under our regular budget. We're gonna mill that little piece out, and just curve it back into the catch basin. Yeah. Yeah, I told him it's gonna happen this year, so.
Good.
that's probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eagle has
Yeah.
He's getting quite upset. Yeah.
And we did find that one of the major issues there was it was stubble full of leaves.
Oh.
And that's why the water wasn't draining away to start with. And we had the heavy rain there a few months ago. I went over with the guys and we cut the top of the culvert just past West Street.
But that one storm drain, it sloped it completely the wrong way.
Yeah. And then when that flooded, it was all around it, already, when we freed it out, it helped, not 90%, but there's still 10% of that heavy rain that still pushes across the road a little bit, so. Just gotta bring it up to inch on one side, grade it, and that's it, so. Okay. We're gonna get it fixed up.
So on page 5, there's only one note there, just to highlight the sewer camera with locator for inspecting sewer lines. It's an upgraded camera over what they have available now. I don't know, if we let that in green, not really much to discuss on it. Let's try to go through this quickly, because I know this isn't a budget meeting. Let's go to page 6, and Sydney Street Trail, being the second, that first yellow blank spot. So, we were just wondering what council would like to see there. Work has been done on it, how much more work would council like to have?
Signage.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day,
Yep.
signage and somehow finish at the bottom. I don't know what's going on the bottom there.
Okay. So I don't know how deep those blocks are in the ground, that's why we never took them out. And if you want us to explore, we can, take it back up and pick them out, see if we can lower it. Obviously, you walk down, so you know the slope of it, when it comes to those foundation blocks that are there. saw there was a little bit of an angle at the wall, maybe, instead of a straight run down, they could do that, so. Just as, you get a little bit of speed coming down there if you're not paying attention to, so. I saw the kids run down through there, that would slow them down, at least on their bikes.
So the top, instead of the rocks, it would be like, something there instead of the rocks.
So just wood or something?
Yeah, something, just to have a walkway through.
Sure. Yep.
Just somewhere.
Because people see that, they don't realize.
Yeah.
Cut down through that. That's what we brought up the other day.
Yeah, it just seems so dismal, right?
Yeah, I'll figure out the price, yeah.
Since you fixed that up there, have you had any complaints from anybody, the neighbors or anybody that,
They haven't said nothing. The only complaint we had, I think Leslie had one for garbage once, and that was it. Wasn't it, Leslie? East on Sydney Street.
I don't know if I had a garbage complaint.
Well, the older gentleman there came in one day and said he picked up all the garbage or left it there. He left it there for us. Right.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
left the garbage and
Yeah.
stuff there for us to fix up.
because it looks better now than it has in.
Yeah, well, it opened up, makes a difference, but they're not hiding that, so, yeah.
Just to get aware of stuff.
Unfortunately, I remember when it wasn't.
And the next line is the splash park is left in yellow, just wanted to firm up that number, I think the council discussed, just wanted to, talk to Tom again, look back at the minutes, to see how much was cash, how much was, 30,000 cash, or did, but did that include
30,000
in
equivalent cash and plus income.
plus income?
Yeah, but it was over 2 years. It was supposed to have been 15 last year
Okay,
and 15 for this fiscal year.
great. So, yeah, I mean, we can write
Bump
checks to them effectively, yeah.
Well, I think we can put $30,000 for the conference. I'm just.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
cash.
yeah, it is 30,000 cash in total.
Yeah, that's what was in the,
Yeah,
that was what was in.
plus income, okay.
So you ready to beat that
Yeah.
cash?
Yeah. So,
They're continuing with the conference.
yeah, they've developed, the one, $300,000, is that not?
And also sharing this construction of some operation as well. Yeah, go to maintenance and stuff, yeah.
So the next one, page 7, the one in yellow is the same car we've already talked about, that's just the water commission share of it. We get 50/50 with the water commission in town. And then page 8, the downtown project, just assuming that we're probably not doing anything this year, so just not.
It's on our agenda tonight.
Just a question, I thought with the, if we share the cost of the water commission, because the water commission is supposed to break even with that, when we produce the water.
Because the water commission is
Because the water commission is supposed to operate as a break even, right?
yeah, the water commission has to recoup those costs at some point.
Right, so if we put that 50% of the automobile, there, inevitably means the water will have to work with something.
They go up by the depreciation of that asset, whatever that amount is, the amount that has to go to operating. Water commission doesn't have to balance its budget every year, but over the long run, it has to balance its cost recovery. And UARB would be asking, is that reasonable? We always have to be careful of that. But if the car, one of its primary purposes is as the meter reading car, I think it's reasonable that the water commission pay some of it. We have some of the lowest water rates in the province, so
Would it be reasonable for the town council to buy the car and the water commission to run and maintain it?
they can, we're already running and maintaining and appreciating a truck. Probably we would share the costs if we're going to do the capital, we'd probably do the operating 50/50.
Would you swap the car and drive
No, I don't think there's any intent to do that. 'Cause
it? They still need the truck, right?
Yeah, whether they use that specific truck, it doesn't really matter. We need some truck costs in the water commission because, a lot of work does get done for them. So it's reasonable, independent and public with UARB, one truck. And part of this car, I think that's reasonable, dependable. Open to suggestions, so.
What percentage, would it be not 50% of the car, would it be 25% of the car, would that be more reasonable?
I put 50 in, just because, you know, if you use what meter reading plus, what's that?
I'm just playing devil's advocate, what number would work?
We can use another number. It's 50% is pretty easy. I guess that's it. Is that reasonable? Probably.
Well, it's not that car alone's not gonna change the water bill.
No.
I mean, probably, the water commission will be looking at the water rate soon.
It's just another.
The water commission's got money.
Yeah, it's really an allocation from the taxpayers' one pocket to their other pocket. So this is not a, you know, do we need to get
It's
it?
the transparency.
Yeah, exactly. Does it have to be exactly 100% correct? No, but it has to look fair. Yeah.
And if it was electric, it's only $70 a month.
The operating cost would be lower, the capital would be higher. Cost of the environment apparently is still up for debate.
No longer, otherwise. No oil changes, no fluid changes.
I get an electric car, I'll put mayor, Kathy Leakey on
There you
it.
Yeah.
Was there any,
Hire for the driver.
Don't get ready to change, you fellas, it's happening, whether we go on with the ride or not.
I think that's,
a scooter, it is.
I'm looking at an electric bike.
I'm looking at an electric scooter.
Yeah.
I look at one of the big skateboard companies.
Is there even take all the water tank out?
Thank you.
There's nothing in there, but, you know, we can,
Yeah, we should.
like, get a price figure out for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is their draft, and we'll have
Yeah.
a meeting here to go through it, and I say this every year to council, if you have a project in mind,
and
whether it's building the deck up here, or building
That's,
the mayor electric car, you put it in.
that side of it probably the number one most talked about active transportation issue that came up during all consultations I was involved in. That people love that section.
And I can find still a cost,
yeah,
right? So it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
We're roughly what to do.
And before you get a cost, I guess, just wait and see what the recommendation is, what people are saying, what do they want?
Yeah.
You want?
We still put a line in there.
yeah.
Yeah, and,
We've got complaints last 3 or 4 years.
yeah, it shouldn't, I
Walking there.
think you make a good point that it should definitely be in there, whether it's in year one or in year two or
Right.
something, it should be, yeah, you're right.
Even if you do half this year and half next year, or start it,
I've seen stuff in this budget for the last 15 years, so.
right? Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, no, coming down to work was nice, you did it a couple of years.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.
Anything else?
And, painting the water distribution reservoirs, that's, I guess that's a water commission decision, but, we need to get costs for that.
Some logos on there or something.
And is there a wish for logos or something? That's these signs only come around once every 15 or 20 years, so it's the.
Are trees capital?
Well, usually they're under operating.
Yes.
So I did, I'll mention it, I have over 20 red maple trees. I have to pre-order this stuff, so just so everybody knows.
Yeah, so we can tell people that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was bored today, so
Yeah.
just bring it up. And one thing I forgot in my report, if I can just
You're done.
bring it. No problem. I just, the crosswalk downtown, the all-inclusive crosswalk. I know back when we put it in, council voted to put it at a certain location. For the safety of my guys and for us for maintaining it, and it will definitely last longer, will there be any appetite to put it on the city street piece instead of across the Water Street?
Even this one, north side.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, either way.
It's just, it would, for us, it's easier because we have to close down the whole street in order to do it. Takes a day, so we just do City Street, and it's not affecting the downtown traffic.
You can divert.
Yeah. And I think it'll last longer too, you're not gonna have people starting to stop on it as much at that location. Great. I just wanted to bring it up, I mentioned the Tom Booth thread actually, so.
Could get any complaints with changing it?
I don't think we get complaints for changing. The only complaint I received, well, I received the complaints that I expected to get because of the mindset itself.
Yeah.
But the only complaint I had once was we didn't consult with a particular individual on what the crosswalk should be, but I did reach out to others about that crosswalk, so they loved it. Yeah. Well, good, I don't see it, it's visible, it's, kind of makes it even more of a courtyard feel. Yeah.
Really, so.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, anybody else? Yeah. Okay.
That's it, unless there was some questions?
Nope, okay. Nothing, nothing else on the agenda affects you, so you can sneak out. So it is, unless, but there are a couple of things down in the new business, but that's just.
How's your, Wichita working, okay?
Whichever.
Yeah.
Good, good. Yeah, it's an open year, that works good for us, so.
Special constable.
Start off with the dangerous and unsafe report. I kind of done it as a summary.
Yeah.
Before they came up with it. 1 Birch Street, the step and the ramp is barricaded off for that use. The owner will be reminded, they have been reminded to replace it, down. 19 Maiden Lane, urban municipal community of the area, town trailer has been brought in, and it's in the site. Currently still monitoring the site progress, and that continues to be. 140 Water Street, in violation of 80 site biological overall condition of the building and surrounding structures, area of mezzanine. Area will require further investigation to develop a case to ensure something can be done at the area. At this time, the building seems to be adverse to any kitchen damage to the monitoring site. Should be inspected to determine whether it's suitable for area demolition. 144 Water Street, building has been given written directives, and they have not completed. Property owner has been in violation of the dangerous and unsightly bylaws since September 26, 2022. No notice of change is in place. Property also should be inspected and verified. Demolition is required for the owner for 77 Montrose Road, I think it's right. Is in violation of the dangerous and unsightly bylaw of the town. Since I made a call, they said come down and actually put it on the door. 56 Water Street, was reported to be unsightly condition of paint on the exterior building. Inspection along the boardwalk indicated the building is in poor condition and will require a little bit of further investigation before an order can be issued on that property. That is all I have for the nuisance. I think there any questions around that.
I have one question on that, whether, I don't believe there's any lobster traps in our town, but after the season, everything will be stored there.
The hope is to have them removed from the area, because my understanding is it's a commercial fishing area that's supposed to be maintained within the town limits. So my hope is to get them removed from the area. It's not reported on this report, because it was finished before, some further things have taken place on that property. Since then, the property has received an order system, you should see change in that area starting, I hope anyway, as of now. Including the
Discussion with the, it's leased, the parking lot down here for work, seems to be accumulating, parts.
The one beside that green, the parking lot.
If you're going towards the wharf and you're almost at the wharf.
I thought the understanding that was carbon, at least belongs to 134. I think that's research.
Scotia, yeah.
Yes, so it's tied into that, so I'm hoping to get something figured out first. Maybe with that building, either whether or not I want to give the property back to the town, or what the case will be. I don't know, I haven't figured that in yet. I'm still trying to track down somebody to have a verbal communication with them. I like to do a point of contact, verbally, email, that way it's a traceable conversation, but I haven't had that with somebody, but the file is started and it is processed.
Okay, any other questions on that? Protective services.
CCTV report, all cameras and surveillance system is operational. I have received 2 RCV requests for video retrieval from the board. Footage of safety and RCV, drive riding up constant 1 G, all paperwork is filled in Crossing guards, March 20th to 23rd, I monitored the crossing guard for fire testing, whereas it was included better than before. I did in-house testing here in town hall on the 24th, so they completed your product training for 2023. Vendor licenses was completed on as well. Taxis, taxi license, a new taxi cab company, and the RJ license for the town of Dee, 2 licensed operators, and 2 additional cab operators licenses as well. And for the solid waste management, there was 10 properties that received complaints concerning solid waste. No tickets were issued for violations. In most cases, it was education that simply resolved the case. 2, I believe, is still ongoing. I can read the list of the properties.
We have them in front of us, so if they have a specific question, they can.
Yeah, so like I said, at the time, there's no tickets issued, and in most cases, it's clearly by, just educating the people on what the requirements are, giving them the supporting documents, and most would be very welcome to accommodate the needs, so far. Everybody seems to be following the rules relatively well. So far. Any questions on that?
Non-water street, that's the one across the top.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is there anything that can be done to the windows?
I am currently working on him as well, starting in small new steps to try to see how willing the property owner is to cooperate.
And, what he calls it blinds or whatever,
Yeah, they're all.
they're, discouraged.
They definitely look bad. For me, I see it's something that's on the inside of the building, and I understand that it doesn't look bad from the outside, but it is slightly cosmetic, and when I look at the building, if I'm being honest, there's far more issues that's more pressing than it is blinds, respectively. However, there's a few things I'm working on that property, but it's a matter of steps at a time, trying to develop a case and seeing how willing the person is to just accommodate any request, and if none is accommodated, then a more firm tactic will have to be taken.
Firm tactic will be necessary.
I'm sure it probably will, but it does support my case that if I ask for simple things to be addressed and they don't, then it gives me more grounds for building further in my approach. So that's my attempt anyway, how
I was kind of concerned of one of the reactions from the Department of Housing that they gave you, and you were too in your report, but you know how their attitude was towards it when we made a complaint of something that brought to their attention, and we're kind of like, whatever, we're not going to do it.
And in some cases, it does come across that way, but, you know, you just keep reminding people that it is written in bylaw, that it says this is law of town, this is the guidelines you have to follow out here. Usually when you show somebody black and white that's in paper, it's a little hard to argue that just me standing there telling them something they have to, whereas it's a document right from the town, and it's in black and white. And it tends to make people more compliant.
Is it a little bit more difficult now where your reference next step is Halifax, it's not a person in our community? Or Department of Housing?
We never had much success even with local firms because it was a governance board. They didn't really allow any conversation. Any other questions for Lee? Keep at it. Good luck.
Good job.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's it, so you can sneak out. Well, she won't be long. She get you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good night. Kat, next.
Yeah, I'll just quickly highlight, I'm not sure if my last report was presented because I was not here, but I'm just, it's very much similar because a lot of projects are happening and just some updates. So from last report, the Neighborhood Accessibility Fund, as you know, has been approved for the public washrooms. We're getting $62,910 from them, and our portion is to be $15,727. So then from last report too, I found the tree planting grants that we should be looking into for next round, because this is just something that I found and know that Ed wants to plant some trees. That would be something that we can apply for in the fall. Clean leadership, so that one we got approved and we've been interviewing actively. A lot of students are applying. We had a good lineup, especially for tourism, but because tourism has 2 positions. And we had the priority group where we were looking at students with some disabilities or from visible minorities, and we had some that accidentally applied to public works, and then so we switched them to tourism. So now we have the public works internship has been filled, I think. Tom, that's approved. Yeah. And then the tourism one is still kind of the process, and the interviews have been completed, but the CEO is reviewing the recordings and the scores, etc. But we do have our top candidates for those positions as well. So Clean Leadership has some additional training that the kids will have to undergo on their behalf that have to do with the environmental factor, etc. And also, today, just to add to this, I got the email from the MP with the approval for Canada Summer Jobs funding, and that's something that Tom's going to have to look into, whether we're going to have more interns or whatever. That's something the CEO is going to look into. But we did get the funding for that too. Trans-Canada Trail. So in my report that I wrote that we got approval for 1,000, however they followed up with me and they're giving us another $1,000, so 2,000 in total, because they want us to make a little documentary film about our event for national media coverage and for their promotional materials as well. So I've got a group of volunteers who are going to be helping me with that. So we're going to have a low budget on that, just a couple of memory cards for that, and the rest is going to go more to the out school and to the co-op class to play around with. They're thinking of making benches and picnic tables and stuff for the trails. And the core, then we have another youth group that wants to do painted rocks, buoys, all kinds of stuff, like to decorate the trail and make it unique, not just, a nice trail. No, it's going to have unique stuff on it. That's going to call, our community, this is ours. And I also had the volunteer fair this Saturday where more youth, there's all kinds of ages applied, but primarily youth is interested in this project a lot, and they're very excited, so they've got more follow-up emails today. They're saying, yes, we'd like to participate in the future events for Trans-Canada Trail. And yeah, it seems like it's a very cool and interesting project for the kids and other young people, not just kids, I guess. Active Transportation Plan, we had, I believe this was our last input session, and it was a small one, more with our community partners, and the CEO from Minnesota was here to discuss the connectivity of the trails and stuff like that. And Sharon from the Recreation was here too, and a couple more people. And the federal government is approved us for an extension for this project, just because the consultant has a couple of other things that they would like to add to the active transportation plan after conducting the input sessions, especially with the youth, etc. So they want to add a couple of things. So, and yeah, the active transportation plan said, yeah, fine, and they extended it for like another year, even though we're not going to need that much time, but that's how much they're flexible. With the reasons that we gave them. Okay, so Yeah, I had some meetings there with the community partners, all kinds of updates. Turning the Tide had the community partner engagement session where they're just concluding what they've done and what they're just asking others, like what they think they should be improving in the future or continuing focus on. Then I had a couple of meetings with Nancy and Michelle from the Housing Coalition, just because they're also looking to extend Michelle's term there, and they've got a lot of stuff on their agenda. But I believe they're planning to make a presentation here soon, so I'm not going to get into the details about that. Community Links was requesting that we move into projects where seniors and youth collaborate. I did mention to all the people that I work with who are working with the youth, so the Trail Care, they might be part of the project because in the documentary that we're going to build, we're going to have the process of the kids working on the arts and crafts for the trail, then doing the cleanup, and then I'm hoping to have like a senior group doing like a test run after, admiring what the youth has done. So that would be our first, and then the Housing Coalition also has a couple of workshops that they're planning to do with the youth and seniors as well. And I'm kind of helping them out with that too, just linking everybody together. And I've met obviously, Deep Regional High School co-op class meetings to discuss what we're going to be doing, the Trail Care and Alternative School wants to be involved this time, so I've got enough money for both of them to build stuff and put on the trail. I've got some training coming up with the emergency information officer, the following week. And just helped with some administrative work with doing some data entry for the last year's beautification grant and the other one community works. And we're working on the transfer of the VIC as well. I believe that I did most of the work there. Public Works already moved all the old stuff over there, so they're just finishing up. And from the Neighborhood Guide series, I had 2 issues this month. One was for just residential, that was mailed out with the residential bills that was focused on volunteering because of the volunteer month. It advertised the benefits of volunteering and all the events that are happening and some resources of where people can call and find more information. And the other one was for businesses to look into participating in the umbrella program that we discussed in the previous year, and also taking advantage of an opportunity to advertise for free at our new information center. So, and I got a couple of replies. First of all, DP Pines right away replied that they're interested in it. It's a cool idea. And Transcend the Trail also wants to promote their organization, and because they've been our partner this year, so like to put up their ad, and we'll hoping to hear more from others. Thanks for me. And from
Just in regards to the umbrella commercial, just putting that on the commercial water bills, there's a lot of businesses that don't pay water bills because the landlord.
I know, I will,
Yeah.
that was just my first mail out.
Yeah.
I'll be probably going in person soon.
Because you can do the whole town.
Oh, yeah, and I already went with NSCC, I already had the poetry and theater meetings that I've had, but I'm gonna do I usually do an in-person run, for the businesses, like I did last year with the accessibility program, so I'm just gonna go walk as soon as I get a chance. So far, I got good reviews on that one. Nina from MSCC really liked it. I think they might participate.
Okay, any questions for Kat? Get lots there, so, good.
Yeah.
Good, yeah, well, that's good. There's no questions, then you have to hear 2 hours, so you can go home.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. We won't get out of here, just so staff knows there that we won't get out here till 1, 2 in the morning.
Get a meal break in between?
Yeah, meal break.
Like a game one.
Game, what game?
Yeah.
Pickleball?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. So Sustainable Service Growth Fund, just put that on there because we're aware that we get some money and. Oh, correspondence, yes.
And basically,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, it's all
for
right.
that, the application that I put in for the municipal green fund, we did get approved.
Yeah.
And as for implementing the building monitoring analysis system, 6 of our buildings. The municipality also applied and 6 buildings that are, going to, be, so.
They have 6 buildings.
Well,
Of course, some days will work.
see, if they were geographically in theirs, some of our facilities had to go under their grant, right? So that's why they got more, but I think they've got their municipal office, they've got their library, and I think the wells, as far as the wells are concerned, or ours, has to be, except for well number 3, is all in the municipality, so they have that for applications, so.
Okay, that's good. If there's money there, let's grab it. And at least long-term sustainability. New business. Some of these we can get through quite quickly. Sustainable Service Growth, we were awarded some money. I was gonna send a letter, Mayor, to the minister, just thanking him. Yeah, I just keep forgetting, but I will talk about it as we go. So that's a non-expected bonus, and of course, it's nice.
So where's the plan to spend some of that?
Well, that's kind of the start of the conversation there.
But, first, with the agreement there, that's,
Yeah.
that hasn't signed yet, so that's gonna be signed and sent back. And, I circulated it just for council to look at, see if there was any reasons that would be signed. And, it's got some of the, there are restrictions on it, and if we don't spend it, then we have to give it back, so.
Just move it to a different bank account so they can't take it.
Yeah,
Well,
that covers them back. But they give you some high-level criteria here, when you can.
it's mostly for capital.
Yeah,
It's for that support, the things that like affordable housing and stuff like that. So, like, if a developer came to Digby and said, I wanna do an affordable housing project, but in order for it to go, I need to have help or provide these services, right? So we would spend that money on providing those services.
Could we use it to develop design work for the Main Street School?
I'm not 100%
Because it is
sure,
pretty-
it could be, it could, yeah,
well, it says, expenditures associated with planning, design, and construction.
yeah.
And so it could at least help with planning, and then I think we can discuss sidewalks. I'm not sure if I caught what you said correctly, Mike, but were you talking about getting a price on the sidewalk for, like, completing the loop in town? Yeah. Yeah, so that's something that I was thinking of as well, that, that's potentially a project to look at, and even what the mayor indicated in terms of coming down from, Lighthouse Road, to connect that. And then there was,
There's a lot of work involved in that.
oh, yeah, but it's still something we can talk about. Yeah.
But there's,
Yeah, I'm not saying.
300,000 to 335,000, it won't go far, right? I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, and,
But if you could get the design work done, the preliminary stuff, so that you've got that in your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's your first, 100 meters or 200 meters of one of the projects, it's a start because,
Yes.
they're paid for eventually.
One of the things that caught my attention, the minister, week and a half ago, said they weren't gonna build any new public housing. They were just gonna improve their housing stock. And to me, that is, when are they gonna come down and say it's your role now? That's, and I say, well, we are looking at this building up here, so we're doing our little.
You can see Lower Sackville yesterday, where the sawmill is there. Probably about 50 containers.
Yeah.
They're all being converted over to homes. Yeah. Patio doors in them and everything. Yeah.
Some of them are quite nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, so
I'm gonna think, would this be, go along with our capital budget discussions? Is that a good time to discuss it at the same time? Because a lot of the stuff that's in the capital budget does fall into this. I got a whole line on that capital budget for this, but I don't know, does it make sense to do that? And give us time to think about it and talk and deal with all that.
So, I'm hearing any objections to signing the agreement.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
yeah, the original question. Sorry.
Yeah. Just let you know, the Tesla plan is about $170,000.
I don't think that was on the list.
Paul, I'll let you drive it.
You're not generated.
Okay, so just direction, Tom, on that. Yep, sign it, whoever has to. Downtown revitalization, you can put that on there, because we've still beating around the last few years, we applied for funding, and COA didn't like it. That doesn't preclude, they said to me that they never will, they would look at it again at some point, especially with our proposal around economic development, tourism, that kind of proposal, because that's what they do. They don't build, the COA says we don't build sidewalks. That's a different game for them, so. We just thought we'd throw that back on there, to keep it in our radar screen.
And I think it was to talk about the facade program as well.
Well, during my thoughts were during the capital budget, council has to agree to fund this facade program. And I don't think it needs to be huge dollars.
But I think it's getting out of our operating budget, not our capital.
Capital.
Yeah, because capital, we have to have an asset at the end of it.
Right.
Like, spend on it, we have to have an asset for it.
Well, we put on the front of the building, storefront on the buy.
Yeah. Or they take our free paint and build the front of the.
You just have a fake facade, you just pull it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, I thought too, the same kind of operating, because I don't know how much we want to put in, but you're with a lot of those put up to a certain amount, to a max. I guess the other conversation around that keeps floating around, do we make it? We have suggestions in that program that Kat presented to us, but do we make some of that mandatory in the program too? That's another.
Well, that's what we used to do.
Yeah.
It used to be, a lot don't do that now.
That's how you get consistency and not oddball from one building to another.
Yeah.
So that's a discussion.
You can see it. I think it's probably important that we have some sort of consistency in that so that we don't have a sort of see over. Probably get a good view of it over my shoulder through the window. Might be best to have that to limit certain things. You don't have to eliminate a lot, but.
But then you have to say, what are we gonna have?
Yeah.
Right. What's our theme? You can look at a town like Lunenburg, which is known for the bright, brilliant colors all over town. Is that what we want to be, or do we want to be?
That's one of the,
That's what we want to be waiting on the side.
it's important to have that revitalization plan.
Maybe that's a project for the library. Let's give us some historical colors. What were historical colors at the time DPD built the first place?
Darren does research every day.
Yeah.
There you go, John. Although all the photos are black and white, but.
That's true.
But you
But
can't.
technology that they can figure out what colors
They
they
can.
Peter will get you some of that 3 degree hot.
You already submitted it.
Anybody, pieces of sign, you wanna get rid of the Wilson?
Now, I've said to the COA officer that we'd like them to come and talk about what they like to see accomplished with their money, because they said we always want to fund projects, so. I asked them just to come, we can throw it up there again. Because they turned us down before. It's sitting right here. We email them, Yep. Okay, we'll do that. And we can talk downtown, rather than it's quiet, it's tired.
It is.
Road Trails Act, Tom, this is making its way through the house.
Yeah, so, 6, 7.
Good.
Something on a video before we were back to.
Yeah, and then the next day or so after you sent that, 2 or 3 of them were still traveling, so they do it all the time.
Were they respectful people?
They weren't breaking speed limit, they didn't stop at any of the overhead right crossings, they just looked both ways and kept right through, and then they should have stopped. But yeah, they were respectful, yeah. But it was dangerous because they were going right down the street and through stop signs by the post office.
Yeah, it should be.
I think once it's regulated, set up, I think we do get different stops with those people.
But are we unique in the province where we have the trail going right through the middle of our town? It's a street.
So Sierra, wait a minute,
But why didn't that's their own special for the bridge, right?
that was an experiment.
Yeah.
That's where this is coming from.
Yeah, so this act, when it passes, it's gonna give municipalities, by bylaw, to be able to designate a highway, or part of a highway that is not a road owned by the crown or right of the province, as a road trail, right? So, basically, we will be able to, if this passes and becomes legal, if council wishes to designate from Sydney Street to Mount Street, First Avenue is a road trail, then we can do that, and there's different regulations that they have to abide by, and any peace officer, if they're on this piece of road, and any peace officer stops them, they're supposed to be able to provide their license and proof of insurance and.
Just like a motor vehicle.
Just like a motor vehicle.
Yep.
Right.
I'm sure it'll be stopped.
And the other thing is, no driver shall operate an off-highway vehicle if the noise level of the vehicle is higher than the level ordinarily set by the manufacturer because of the removal of the muffler or other noise dampening device. So basically, if somebody soups it up so that it sounds louder than what it was manufactured as, then they can be tickets. Yeah, well, there's quite a lot of the little Hondas and stuff like that, they get up in the loud muffler and all that.
Yeah, that's, BDI passed the bylaw regards to recreation vehicles.
Well, I mean, you allow them to change the speed limit, how do we designate that?
Yeah.
Road.
I think, yeah, you would have to have this thing a lane, one lane, right? Because they could travel both ways. So I almost envision we could say things about tracks back with tracks were,
Yeah.
right? And,
Physically change it.
yeah, take people along down and say this is for, cars can drive on it too, there's no ATVs, but if that's, ATVs can't be any on the other side of the road, because to stay within that lane, and the speed limit is a maximum of 25. Based on living there.
So
Oh,
if they're traveling 25 and a vehicle's speed limit is 50, how does that happen?
I guess it goes right away. But yes, but it used to be, well, train, I lived on that street just down there. It was a narrow street to train.
Yes.
It's a big business. You go to Halifax, they had a thing here this weekend for Cancer Run.
Yes.
And we met probably 40 at least on trailers. And last one we seen were almost at the camp. So they were coming from camp then.
Well, that's good, just keep us up to date, but I guess we're gonna think about how that's going to work.
You do it safely.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there's always going to be somebody who's going to.
Oh, there is, that Task Lake Trail is just, Tom, one person, they give up and he just, we lived that one. Spring conference, that's coming up at the Pines Hotel.
Yeah, no one here's registered. So
Yeah, I meant to do
You're going with that.
yeah, no, you should, because the permit or registration done.
Yeah.
I think I registered.
You did.
Being so close to home, we just forget about it.
Yeah.
But if I just walk in, no, worries. Well, I have to speak at the open, that's right. Might get me into that, thanks.
So you don't have to pay for it?
So, register, look at the agenda. It doesn't mean you have to be there all day, but there's different times and different subjects.
It's a lot of revenue, actually.
Spring and summer event. I think we all get the email from Rick. Did we? Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe I just got this poster.
You brought it up.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do it again, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is June 17th, 18th, today.
Okay, well, you sent an email out yesterday, I just assumed it went to everybody. It's just a, yeah, it's a poster.
Yeah. What's the date? 17th? June?
It's right here, it's, June the 17th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So it's, pretty well the same thing.
I thought it was a lot for us last year. Did really well.
Well, yeah.
We want to do it again.
Well, I worked it last year, I think we all.
We all did, yeah. You think it was worthwhile last year, did it? Enjoy it all? Yeah.
I think we can get it covered.
Yeah.
It's only 9 to 4, so.
Yeah.
Anybody have something to cover? Huh?
I said we split up different hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, letter to Ron Tassel. Many here don't realize Ron Tassel, my father picked up waste on Shore Road for 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, I don't know. When my father passed away, Ron Tassel picked it up, did it for the last 7 years. Anybody retired from it? And you can tell when you walk down Shore Road, it's a mess. Actually, I mentioned Jim House was taking up the garbage there today. I just wanted to send him a letter, thank you. Because every morning,
You need to go to the golf course with his bag?
Yeah.
We did the garbage can up there, or?
every morning, he drove right, well, he did right from the corner, right to the fair truck roll. And I'd see him, he'd stop, jump in his car, pick up the garbage. He did that for 7 or 8 years, so. I just sent him a letter, thank you for this, what he did, so. That's all that was. Yeah, well, yeah, the viewing is tomorrow, and the funeral is 1 o'clock at the Baptist Church. Yes, yeah, if you want to get in. Yeah.
When he sold his pharmacy, and he went to best wishes. And on his last day, my dad was his last.
Oh, that's,
So, we, will be closing down hall for the funeral, so, staff and for this, with me.
Yeah.
Joy working when he wasn't there, and stuff like that, so.
I expect we're gonna use the church at the church hall, they usually do real big.
On the website, our website says he was mayor from 1990. There's a picture that said 80.
Yeah, it's 89, 89 or 88 until 91. 3-year terms at that time. And the reason that I know that is the same year that I was elected on the municipal council the first time. October of 88. 88, 91.
He just did one.
Huh?
He was on the one.
Because that's what
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
and we
term.
got a permit, and I didn't know where you were. They didn't know.
Okay,
Mary, centennial year.
yeah,
Yesterday at our politics meeting, I suggested that they find some way, whether a little banner on the fire, or something to honor Mr. Lee, because he was so involved with the scholarship from the beginning.
yes, it was. So, well, so many different things. Yeah. So I passed along condolences to Margot and to Jackie. So, I think I'll miss that. Okay, we move in camera, we have a motion to move in camera with personnel. Moved, second?
Second.
All those in favor of moving in camera? Aye. Camera?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
If you got anything else you want to talk
We have a motion on the floor to adjourn, do we have a second?
Second.